Hello everybody, welcome back to Life Stories. My name is Trent and I hope you're all doing awesome as always. Today, we got more stories coming at you from Reddit/entitledparents, so you know the same song and dance. Settle down, get some snacks, maybe a loved one, and let's get started. Our first story is titled, Karen Wants Me to Sword Fight Her Kid. This happened yesterday, and I was typing it out last night, but I passed out. If there are any grammar mistakes, I'm sorry. I've been training to fight with wooden swords I carve for the last few years now, and I had my first random challenger today. I was practicing in my backyard with my face mask on. A few important things to know for later is that there is a large tree in the center of my backyard, and from the upper right to the lower left, there's a line that divides the yard into a rocky section and a grassy section. There's also a concrete patio with a grill and a table. By the table is a large red bucket with many weapons sticking out of it, all ones I carved. Also, I was kind of on edge, as I did a tarot reading for myself the morning before it happened, and it pretty much told me to be cautious and watch out for those you can tell are dark, which I assume just means people are trouble, as an aside. Anyways, with this scene set, let us start. I was casually practicing with my two favorite short swords when I saw a kid and his mom walk by without face masks on. The kid stopped and watched. This boy was probably 15 to 16, as he had a school shirt on that indicated him as a sophomore. He seemed transfixed when I looked at him. When my arms were tired, I stopped and saw he and his mom were watching. I looked at them and nodded slightly to acknowledge them without talking, as I was trying to regain my breath. I then noticed the mom had the classic Karen look, haircut, expensive sunglasses, and the works. Karen says, "Hey Beardy, do you teach classes?" I took a second to regain my breath before I said anything. As an aside, yes, I have a beard because I haven't needed to shave it. Never taught official classes, but I used to teach the neighborhood kids last summer for a huge fake Hunger Games. The fake Hunger Games were a tradition every summer in my cul-de-sac since I moved in. I was pretty much the best, as one of the kids, Jason, a 17-year-old, had a special staff that's the only non-wood weapon allowed. It's a staff made from a plastic pipe. I trained pretty much just to beat him, and I got good enough to beat not only him, but everyone else in the cul-de-sac. The boy was freaking out a bit due to him seeming to love the Hunger Games. "Can I fight you?" the boy said. This was amusing to hear, as I never was challenged before. I was the one who used to challenge people. I smiled and laughed a bit. Well, I'd love to, but because of the virus, we shouldn't get close, and swords are for close combat. The mom seemed annoyed. She looked at me and said the most stupid thing I've ever heard, and trust me, I know how BS it is, because COVID was a huge topic we often discussed in my microbiology class. "US white Christians don't need to worry about it. God sent the virus down to cleanse the world of non-believers, other races, those who are mentally ill, and those who are gay. It won't hurt us as believers." I was kinda used to hearing BS like that, but nothing that intense. I wasn't Christian at all, but I was raised one. I then realized that I was wearing an old shirt from the church my family used to go to because I wore it to sleep, due to it being comfy, and forgot to swap shirts in the morning. I realized it would be awkward to say I'm not a Christian, suffer from ADHD, and that I'm bi, especially to a lady who could be high on weed. I live in Colorado, and it's always a possibility. I was kinda mad, but I can't really show emotions well. I tried to say something that won't make her mad at me. Sorry, but I just don't want to take any risks." The Karen seemed somewhat mad. She pulls a wallet out and pulls $5 from it. "I'll give you $5 to fight him. I bet you can't beat him." Her challenging me was a bad choice, as I was someone who used to spend hours beating bosses that you shouldn't beat in games. Plus, money is a motivator, and I haven't had a good fight in a while. "Fine," I say. "I'll fight him. We can either fight till submission or a 3-hit kill rule. Also, don't yell at me if he gets hurt." I was used to the 3-hit rule, but I could also withstand a fight till submission. I look at the boy. He was kind of muscular, but not too much to worry me that he'd easily overpower me. I look back at the Karen. "He won't get hurt," she says. "Now, what do you want to do, son?" "I'll fight him till submission," he says. "Are you sure?" I ask. "This way of fighting risks injury more." "Yeah," he said. "Well, come on then." The boy enters my backyard, and so does his mom. He looks through the weapons and chooses a huge staff, which I called the Rally Club. It was 6 feet long and mainly only used for tricks. A friend tried to use it before, and I used 2 daggers. I just held it off for a while approaching him before poking him 3 times. I shake my head, remembering that. I recommend using a different weapon. That one is slow and is only able to be used well after serious training. The boy nods and puts it back before pulling out the 2 most dangerous wood swords I made, and they belonged more to my sister, as they were the only ones she used. They were heavy long swords that I made to fit her style, and she only used one at a time. He looks at me, and I shake my head. Sorry, those are kinda dangerous when used by people that haven't trained with them before. Karen stepped in. I'm sure he can use them. You play Beat Saber, right, Brandon? I realized Brandon was her son's name and smiled. Yeah, but these are heavy. He puts them back, and I set out a few weapons for him to try. He soon settles on having a primary set of long swords and a short sword. One of them was one of his favorite ones, and having a dagger as a weapon to use just in case he was unarmed. I grabbed 2 thinner short swords and 2 of my thicker daggers. The daggers were just normally a thing I used to make myself feel comfortable and not worry about being defenseless if he disarms me. Ready? He says. Yeah, I am. We proceed to get on the opposite sides of the yard and count down together. Once we got to 0, he charges at me. I walk forward and get ready. He did, however, do something I didn't expect. He threw the dagger at my face. I partially blocked it, but the move caused my glasses to fall off. I was suddenly glad I practiced sometimes without my glasses on. It was hard though, as he managed to strike me twice, while I only got him once, because I was getting used to them being off. He did retreat when I got his thigh though. I walked forward, and he charges again. I was, however, ready, but couldn't tell if he picked up the dagger while retreating, so I assumed he had it. Only reason I didn't try grabbing my glasses was because that would leave me open. He tries for the double overhead, but I block. I hear the sound of wood cracking. The swords were unsafe now, so I tossed them aside, jumped back, and pulled my daggers out. I was going to be more careful. I charge, mad that he broke the swords that I trained with many times. I block his attacks while dealing my own. I disarm him, and in the process, he runs. He ends up grabbing the Rally Club. He held it in the same way my friend did. He charges, and I do the combo that I made for this sort of combat situation. I ready my left dagger to my right, making an upside-down V. He tries to jab with it like a spear, so I push it to the side, get him once on the wrist, and once on each forearm, and a final time on his left shoulder. I then disarm him and point my dagger at his neck. This had tired me out, obviously. I honor your valor, but you seem to have lost. Do you submit? I say. Yeah, dude, just chill. I submit. I relax for a second before jumping, as Karen yells at me. How dare you hurt my son? She grabbed him, hugged him, and then looked at me like I was a murderer. I thought you wouldn't be mad. Also, you can keep the money. It was a good battle. Yeah, Mom, let's just go home. The Karen cut him off and pulled her phone out. I sigh and look at her, deciding I'll drop the bomb here. If you're going to be mad that your son lost to a bi dude that has ADHD, then you can leave. She looked at me in shock, then dragged her son away from me. Wait, are you disabled? Why do your caretakers let a disabled person like you see the sun and walk among us normal people? I always hated those that bullied me because of my ADHD, but only a few had dared call me that word. I took all my rage and bottled it up so I can stay calm. I've learned to live with the normal world. Now look, you've pushed me far enough today. Get out of here. The Karen dragged her now quiet son out of the backyard, and they continued their walk in silence. I was glad I beat the kid, but I encountered him this morning, when he knocked on the door alone, and he now had a mask on. Hey, dude, Brandon said. Hey. Sorry about yesterday. I have to do whatever my mom says or she gets mad and yells at me at home. Don't worry. I recommend you train on your own some. Yeah, you really beat me hard, and you were right about the huge one. Are your glasses okay? Yep, they weren't damaged at all, just dusted up a bit. Good, I should go now. See you later. Brandon then ran off. I was glad that he came and apologized. Well, it's good that Brandon came back to apologize. I had a feeling in the beginning that he wasn't really the one at fault. His mom sounds nasty though, jeez. And I mean, we're all doing a lot of things to entertain ourselves while we're on lockdown, but sword fighting? Didn't quite think of that one. Sounds cool. And with that exceptionally long one out of the way, we have run out of time for today, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to thank all of you for tuning into Life Stories. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe, because things are pretty nuts right now, but hopefully in the coming weeks and or months, things will start getting better for all of us. So until then and beyond, the content we're working on won't be stopping anytime soon, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way. My name is Trent, and I hope to see you guys soon.